Hello guys, let's learn how to use JavaScript and Node.js in order to create file upload form. With the help of Express.js and Multer, we'll be able to upload photos and also to check whether they have a valid format and produce output to the user. So let's get started. Okay guys, we will start coding the front-end part or the HTML part. We'll start with empty directory, and here we'll create our first file, which is called fileupload.html. And here we'll have a little form with just one input field of type file and the name of file, because afterwards we would like to grab the data through this name field in the server side, and we'll attach one event listener. So whenever the user is uploading a file, so this is the onChange event, we would like to run the following function, which is uploadFile. And now we'll call this function uploadFile. It will be not accepting parameters, and the body of the function will be able to utilize the usage of integrated in the browser's form data object, where we'll be pushing the information from the file, and then we'll be sending this to our server side. So I'll create one variable form data equals to new form data. The next step is to get a handle onto this file. So I'll type document query selector, and here I'll grab the input, which is of a type of file. This will ensure us that we are on the right element, and I would like to save this inside of a variable called file field. The next step is to use the form data and to append this file field inside. So I'll type form data dot append, and here I'll write as a first parameter the custom field that I would like to add in the form data, which is called myFile. The value of this myFile will be exactly the file field. And before this, actually, let's see what we have inside of the file field. So I'll type console log file field, and let's go in browser and test our code so far. Okay, so this is our form, and we can use the browse button to choose a file and see what is happening. Okay, I've chosen a file, and let's see now in the console. We see that we have a null inside of the element, and this is because we have placed the quote incorrectly. Let's again refresh the information and place the file here. And we see that we have access to our file. We are able to see that we have here a property called files. It's an array where we have uploaded our file, and in the 0 element we see access to our file, so we can grab its name, last modified size, and other parameters. So basically we would like to transfer exactly this information to our backend. So I'll go back in the code, and here we don't want only to append to form data the file field, but particularly we are looking for its files 0 element, because this is the current element that we are uploading. And now let's form our request to the server. Let's format the document, and here I'll use the fetch request. So fetch, and then I'll write the URL where I would like to send the data. So this is HTTP localhost 5000, and the API URL, it will be called upload, and we'll create this in a minute. And here are the parameters that we would like to transfer. First, we would like to send the data via post, so I'll write a method, and it will be post. Then in order not to have problems with cross-site requests, I'll use mode of course. I'll set no caching, so I'll type cache, no cache, and we'll use the same origin credentials. Okay, and the most important thing is to send the data that we would like to send, and this is the form data. So inside of the body of the request that we're making to the server, we'll send our form data. And with this, our fetch request is correct. One more thing, if we would like to grab a response from this fetch request or to see the result of it, we can have one variable And let's write this as a response or result. And this will be our fetch request handout with this variable. And lastly, we can console log the response. And now again, format the data. And that's it for our front-end part. Now we'll continue with the backend. So for this, I'll create a new file, which I'll call again file upload, this time with a JS extension. And before writing any code, let's initialize our project using npm. So I'll type npm init and then -y to answer automatically to all the questions. If we open up package.json, we see that our main script is being detected correctly, that it's file upload.js. Here is the name of the script, the version. And also we would like to add here, because we would like to use modern EX6 syntax in file upload.js, the following type and then module. And that's it. Our package is being constructed correctly. Now let's write our file upload. So in file upload.js, we'll use Express framework in order to handle our API URL requests. Then we'll use Multer to perform the actual file upload, and the external library named cores in order to transfer data between the frontend and the backend, which will be residing on the same server but using different ports. So let's install those frameworks. So here in the terminal, I'll type npm install and then express, Multer and cores. And if we open up package.json, soon we will see here in our dependencies, we have all the libraries. So anyone else who would like to have and develop our project can easily just grab our package.json and install them automatically via npm. Now the next step is to import those libraries in our project. So type import express from express and then Multer from Multer, and also we would like from Multer to import the disk storage. Okay, lastly we'll import cores from cores. And now it's time to create our application. So we'll write const app equals express, and this will instantiate the application and we'll save it inside of app variable. Then we'll be able to use the cores for all the requests. So I'll type app use cores so that we will not have problems sending and receiving requests to the server. And the bigger part of the code will be for the configuration of Express. So we'll configure the disk storage and the file filter, which will then feed to our Express uploader. So let's configure it with the following. So type const storage equals to disk storage. And now we'll pass the configuration object to this storage, which will contain destination and file name. So for the destination, we would like it to be saving the files inside of the public directory. So let's say that we are receiving the request, the file, and a callback function. And here we will use the callback function to send the following configuration to Express. So we would like to save the files in the directory public, and that's the syntax which Multer prefers with callbacks. So the next is to configure our file name, and again I'll grab the same structure here. Before executing the callback, I'll first get the extension. So I'll type const extension equals to file, and I'll grab the MIME type, and I'll get the last part of the MIME type. So if the MIME type is image/JPEG, I'll grab with the split only the last part, and then I'll get the second member of this part, so not at the 0 index, but the second member. And that's how I'm getting the extension. And the next thing to do is to use this extension inside of the callback to form the new image name. So here I'll use string template literals, where we'll specify the original name of the file, and then we'll grab the current date, and then we'll add this extension. This is basically if the persons are uploading files with same names, for us to ensure that they are unique in the system by using the system timer, which will change with each upload. Okay, now that this storage is configured, and the next is to configure the file filter. We'll use file filter in order to upload just files of a certain type. In the same way, I'll write const file filter, and here I'll pass a request, a file, and a callback again, and let's configure it. Here we'll use again this extension, so I'll paste it here. Okay, and now we will use this extension by typing a check, which will check if the extension is not a JPEG. So for all the files that are not JPEG, we would like to throw an error, and also to the callback we'll pass a false. So this signifies that we have an error inside of file filter. If this is not the case, the default behavior is to again run the callback. This time we'll not pass any information, but just we'll pass a success status from the running of this function. As you can see, all those functions are in a form of middleware. They are accepting the request, the file, and they run a callback. And now we can feed those two functions inside of our Multer. So I'll type const Multer upload. This will be our handle function name, and we'll point it to Multer, and now we'll initialize it. So we'll use our storage, and since we have the same variable here, storage, we don't need to pass it with the long way, so I can just delete the second part of the object. Then as a second option, I'll pass the file filter. Okay, so that's how our Multer is configured. And the next thing to specify is the field that Multer should expect to receive the upload data. I'll use again a variable const upload equals to our setup Multer, so Multer upload. And here I'll use the single function because we'll be performing a single upload, and here I'll need to specify the data field that we are expecting, and it's my file. Actually, if we go back to our HTML variant, we see that to the form data we are appending exactly this field, my file, and here I'm specifying that I'm expecting exactly from the form data this field to be processed by already configured Multer. It's the time to create the actual API router URL which will handle the file upload. So for this I'll use Express, so I'll type app.post, so handling post requests, and we are handling the upload URL. As you can remember, this was information from here, so we are sending via post information to the upload URL, and whenever such things happens, we have handles for the request and response, and now we'll write what our function will do. And here I'll use directly function provided from Multer, from their documentation for handling errors and our successful cases. And that's the function, and now I explain it. Basically, if we have error inside of the Multer library, we'll be returning it as a response.json with a status Multer upload failed. Otherwise, if there is something wrong with the file, such as provided a wrong extension or any other error, we are returning upload failed, again using a response.json. And lastly, this code block will happen if we have received the information correctly. And actually, I'm here logging the request.file information and sending the success status to the user. So that's our function, and we have wrapped it in a URL handler here. So this is our route. So basically that's our function, and before using the route, we would like actually to trigger the Express to listen to certain port in order for our route to work. So I can just type app.listen, and then I will listen on port 5000, and will perform the following when the server is ready. So I'll just log to the server console. Server is listening on port 5000. Okay, I'll save, and here I can run the project simply by typing node file upload.js. And if everything is correct, we see server is listening on port 5000. And this is exactly our port here where we are sending our request. Let's test now our functionality in browser. Okay, we see here one error. We don't have to use await apparently here. Since this is a promise, we can type then, and here we can handle the data. Basically, we are receiving a response, and with the response, we will just write it on the console. Okay, if we go back and refresh, we don't see the error anymore. So let's upload the file now. Okay, we click on select, and we see response, type course. All right, let's go to the network tab. This is our post request. As a response, we see upload failed. And let's not forget to create one accessible directory, which is called public, because we have configured Multer to save the files inside of such. So I'll create one directory public. Also, we can use Node monitor to reflect the file changes inside of our file upload. Okay, let's try to upload file now. And we see our post request here. We have status of success. Also, we can see all the headers sent inside of the form data here. So let's see now in Visual Studio Code, inside of the public directory, we see our file. Not only this, but we see the auto-generated unique timestamp here for the file, as well as its original extension. That was it, guys. I hope you find the information useful and you can use it in your projects. If you want to learn more about JavaScript and Node.js, you can subscribe to the channel. Please leave me your comments and thank you for watching.